Hi, you might be wondering who I am. I'm Dominik. You might have seen one or two of my artworks in lake coloring, like Sanctuary or the Astrolympics coloring book. Right now, I'm in a hectic time after moving cities, and to relax, I love to go to lake. Coloring one of the many beautiful line arts there helps me forget daily stress and slow down. I experiment, play, and explore different patterns. Especially the latter are something I always return to when things get hectic. They help me let loose and simply enjoy painting. So I thought, why not share my love for patterns with you? In illustration, they're incredibly useful. Patterns add visual interest, guide the eye, and offer an alternative to things like complex perspective or advanced color theory. Before jumping into creating crazy patterns though, I always make sure my color theme is locked in. For this illustration, I'm working with my artist color palette from this artwork and distribute it roughly in a 60 to 30 to 10% ratio. This keeps the overall look cohesive and helps create clear contrast between foreground and background. I start with the bucket tool and block in the primary color across the larger shapes. Once that's in place, I introduce subtle color variations. Nothing drastic, just small hue shifts to add depth and keep things from feeling flat. Lake makes this easy by offering subtle variations directly in the color wheel at the bottom. Then I repeat the process for the secondary color and finally add the highlight color. Quick, simple and surprisingly satisfying. Now for the fun part. Just like colors, patterns work best when they have a purpose. Using them everywhere makes an image harder to read. They should support the artwork, not turn it into noise. The goal is always to elevate the piece, not overwhelm it. My rule of thumb: patterns usually live in one area, either the background or the main character. Placement matters because patterns can either support the story or actively disrupt it. Both are valid approaches, but having a clear goal from the start helps you avoid adding elements that work against the piece instead of elevating it. The same principle applies to the shape and size of the individual elements within the pattern. In this case, we have a character struggling to lift 200 kilograms. I wanted to contrast that tension with something light and calm like flowers. Since the character doesn't offer enough space for the pattern to unfold, the background becomes the better choice. This creates the contrast needed to guide the viewer's eye through the artwork. I start with a simple opaque brush, focusing on clear, readable shapes. At first, I place only circles because they make it easier to judge spacing and establish a grid. Once that structure is set, I add the petals of the flowers. One flower here, another there, slowly the pattern begins to grow. You don't need to be ultra precise with the petals, but keeping the initial shapes roughly aligned helps the pattern feel intentional. And yes, sometimes I literally place a ruler on my iPad just to double check alignment. Works like a charm. But in some cases, even I struggle to get the shapes right. What I like to do in these moments is to use again simple circles to establish the placement of all the individual elements and then connect the blank spaces in between. From there, it's mostly repetition. Time to slow down, maybe grab a hot drink and enjoy the process. After another hour of placing flowers, I take a step back and look for areas where I can break the repetition slightly. Just small imperfections, tiny deviations from the grid. Maybe one flower breaks the color scheme, maybe a few floating lines support the shapes. Tiny details that make the pattern have more impact. Nothing big, nothing exhausting. It's the extra mile we go to remove the overly digital feel and bring a bit of human touch back into the piece. And that's it.